Welcome to Fantasy Audiobook, Hokage. The attributes are greatly increased. Chapter 1. Hoo-hoo. The wind roared across the land. The originally green grassy plain was filled with corpses and bright red patches as far as the eye could see. Blood. It's all blood. The original paradise of the country of grass was turned into a purgatory on earth. Ahem. Where is this? Among the corpses everywhere, a small figure slowly squirmed and struggled. Every time he took a breath, his lungs felt a burning pain, his internal organs felt like they were being torn apart, and severe pain kept washing over his mind. Everything around me changes from unfamiliar to familiar. The memories in my mind kept hitting me like a tide. His eyes were confused and gradually became clear. I am Kusa Chiba. The Third Ninja World War broke out, and the country of grass, which was the buffer zone between the country of fire and the country of earth, became a battlefield between the two sides. As a small country, it had to make a choice between both sides, and the top management of the country of grass was on the first step of the war. For a moment, he chose to seek refuge in Konoha. Then Kusa Chiba, children who had just graduated from the ninja school, were sent to the battlefield by their ally Konoha in the name of joint fighting. Children who have just graduated from ninja school are nothing more than the weakest cannon fodder on the battlefield. What a travesty! The corrupt and incompetent country finally used the sacrifice of its children to gain the opportunity for itself to kneel down and lick Konoha. And here, Kusa Chiba regained consciousness and glanced around. There were dead bodies everywhere. The severe pain coming from his internal organs reminded Kusa Chiba that if he didn't find a solution as soon as possible, the only thing waiting for him would be death like this corpse. Could it be that I traveled through time just to experience death again? No, I'm not willing to give in. Strong unwillingness surged from Kusa Chiba's heart. Ding! Host's violent mood swings have been detected, and the attribute explosion system has been activated. Attribute explosion system. The sound in his ears did not surprise Kusa Chiba. As a time traveler, he was very familiar with cheat. System, how can you help me? Knowing the existence of the system, Kusa Chiba felt much calmer. At least, I should be able to survive. The attribute explosion system can convert all the attributes of the host into digital attributes and display them in intuitive points. Every time you kill an enemy, you can get attribute points, which can be used to improve personal attribute points. As the system's voice fell, a form that only Kusa Chiba could see appeared in front of him. Physical skills. 10 points plus. The plus sign is the button to add points. Genin level. 10 to 50 affects physical fitness, strength, agility, physical skills, swords, kunai, shuriken. Ninjutsu. 10 points plus. Genin level. 10 to 50 affects chakra, ninjutsu, seals. Illusion. 10 points plus. Genin level. 10 to 50 affects resistance, illusion. Attributes. Wind 10, thunder 0, water 0, fire 0, earth 0, yang 0, yin 0. Eye technique. 0 points, not up to standard. Sage body. 0 points, not up to par. Blood succession limit. 0 points, not reaching the standard. Seeing his own attributes, Kusa Chiba laughed at himself. It's really the standard attributes of cannon fodder. All attributes can reach the minimum threshold of genin. On this battlefield, to this extent, one can only become cannon fodder. Ahem. The severe pain in his lungs brought Kusa Chiba back to reality. Ahem. System, do you have anything you can do to help me? Whether it's a gift package for newbies or Shikwan Dabu pills, we can't let Lousy die as soon as he gets the system. Kusa Chiba said very bachelorly as the blood from the violent coughing was still hanging on the corner of his mouth. Ding, we have detected a strong demand for hosts and are now giving out a gift package for newbies. Congratulations to host for receiving the novice gift package. 100 free attribute points. 100 free attribute points. Kusa Chiba frowned. I'm almost dead, even if you give me 10,000 attribute points. Add attribute points to physical attributes to restore current injuries. Quote exclamation mark exclamation mark exclamation mark quote. Kusa Chiba suddenly understood and stopped talking nonsense. Without any hesitation, Kusa Chiba added all the free attribute points to taijutsu. No matter how good ninjutsu is, it is not as important as your own life. As the attribute points were added, the pain from his heart became more and more attenuated, until Kusa Chiba could clearly feel it when he stood up again. My body is healthier than ever. All wounds are healed. Even after waving his arms a few times, Kusachiba could clearly feel the powerful power contained in his body. Bang! A burst of dust rolled up, and Kusachiba's figure disappeared immediately. When he reappeared, he was already 10 meters away. Even the speed has been greatly improved. Free attribute points are indeed a good thing. After checking his property panel, Kusachiba said with sincere emotion. At this time, one of his physical skills has suddenly become Physical Skills, 110 points plus Chunin level, 50 to 200. Chunin. After this additional point, his physical skills have reached the level of Chunin. Although he is still not a strong player, as long as he keeps killing enemies, he will continue to gain attribute points. If he keeps getting stronger like this, I'm afraid that if Kaguya comes out, he will be able to defeat her. Standing on the huge plain, although there were only dead bodies everywhere except himself, Kusachiba felt relieved for a while. At this time, it turns out there is another fish that slipped through the net here. A slightly hoarse voice suddenly came from the jungle on the edge of the plain. Kusachiba turned around and saw a ninja wearing a rock shinobi forehead protector, holding a short sword in his hand, walking towards him with a sinister smile on his face. This is the executioner responsible for cleaning up the battlefield. Their mission is to kill all possible surviving enemies after the battle. Obviously, Kusachiba has become his target. Little devil, your fate is so great. It's a pity that your good luck ends here. Rock Shinobi waved the short sword in his hand and went straight towards Kusachiba. Kid, good luck. Yes, your good luck has indeed ended here, you are just the executioner of Genin. Looking at Rock Shinobi who was coming towards him, Kusachiba had a sarcastic smile on his face. Just in time, I can try my strength too. Bang bang bang. But after just a few confrontations, the short sword that was originally held in Rock Shinobi's hand was now firmly inserted into his own heart. Ding! Congratulations to host for killing the opponent and gaining free attribute points +5. TCH, only 5 o'clock. It's really rubbish. Looking at the soundless Rock Shinobi lying on the ground, Kusachiba smiled coldly and then casually added 5 attribute points to the physical skills. Physical skills are the best way to save life. Before you are strong enough, all attribute points must be allocated to physical skills. After allocating 5 points of physical skills, Kusachiba's muscles became a little tighter. The most obvious feeling was that the muscles in the calf area condensed a strange explosive force as if they were equipped with springs. Whoosh! He exerted his strength with his calves, and his whole body disappeared from the spot. He jumped onto a large branch nearly 5 meters high, holding on to the trunk and facing the breeze. Not only muscle strength, but also various skills are included in physical skills. Even if ordinary people can jump so high, they can never jump to a specific point accurately, such as. Kusachiba chuckled and jumped to another branch far away, like a real ninja, as light as a swallow. Whoosh whoosh, Kusachiba jumped continuously, like a spring man. In the blink of an eye, he jumped up to the tallest tree nearby, looking down from a high position and staring away. 1.5.10. It turned out that after the war, Rock Shinobi, the victorious side, sent many executioners to prepare to clear out the remaining Kusanagi. Ah! A scream was heard nearby. A seriously injured Kusanagi was brutally murdered by a Rock Shinobi executioner. I happen to be short of attribute points, so it's you. Kusachiba licked his lips and jumped down from the top of the tree. The kunai in his hand was aimed at the Rock Shinobi executioner. He fell at an extremely fast speed and saw that the kunai was only an inch away from the executioner's head. Click! A wooden stake was split in half by a kunai on the spot, and the figure of the Rock Shinobi executioner disappeared. Body replacement technique. Kusachiba clicked his tongue in surprise. You found out too late. The figure of the executioner appeared behind Kusachiba at some point. With a cruel smile on his face, he raised a fist and smashed it at Kusachiba. The edge of his fist was covered with a layer of rock, which seemed to be a special skill of Rock Shinobi. It's true that I didn't have many ninjutsu attribute points, and I didn't notice the body replacement technique, but you actually chose to fight me in close combat. Are you too ignorant? Kusachiba sneered, and hit the opponent's rock fist with a backhand punch. The Rock Shinobi executioner sneered. What they were least afraid of was that the other party was going to fight with them. They were both genin. If the other party's fist hit their own rock fist, wouldn't it break their bones on the spot? However, the executioner's face turned pale in the next second, and he felt as if his rock fist had hit an iron fist, his fist bones breaking inch by inch, and severe pain suddenly struck him. In one punch, he lost one of his hands. Die. Without giving the opponent a chance to breathe, Kusachiba kicked Rock Shinobi's executioner in the stomach. His whole body was bent into a crotch, and his internal organs were all smashed to pieces by this kick. Ding. Kill a Rock Shinobi genin and get 5 free attribute points. My physical skills have completely reached the level of Chunin. It's easy to kill these genin. Haha, I'll start with 5 attribute points. The system will add them all to my physical skills. Ding. Attribute distribution is complete. Host physical skills, 115. Subsequently, Kusachiba groped for his way back to Kusanagi village, killing executioners along the way. The center of the war between the two parties consumed a large number of elite ninjas, so even Rock Shinobi village could only send genin as the executioner. They thought that this was Rock Shinobi's complete victory. The executioner's job should be very simple and genin was fully capable of it. However, they did not expect that their executioner would never go back. Ding. Kill 1 Rock Shinobi genin and get 5 free attribute points. Ding. Kill 1 Rock Shinobi genin and get 5 free attribute points. Ding. Kill 1 Rock Shinobi genin and get 5 free attribute points. Quote. Kusachiba allocates attribute points to physical skills while killing. The more he kills, the more relaxed he feels. In the end, Rock Shinobi's eyes couldn't keep up with Kusachiba's movements. His taijutsu was far superior to theirs. Coupled with the fact that his physical strength was getting closer to Jonin's, he could almost kill one with one finger. Rock Shinobi genin. Finally, the executioner was cleaned up by Kusachiba, gained a large number of free attribute points, and he has also arrived in his hometown, Kusanagi village. Seen from a distance, Kusunin village can be said to be a mini version of Konoha, located in a forest with beautiful mountains and clear waters. However, Kusunin village is too poor and small, and looks like an ordinary village in a ravine. Before going back, Kusachiba clicked on his attribute panel to confirm what he had gained along the way. Physical skills, 190 points plus Chunin level, 50 to 200. Ninjutsu, 10 points plus genin level, 10 to 50. Illusion, 10 points plus genin level, 10 to 50. Attributes, Wind 10, Thunder 0, Water 0, Fire 0, Earth 0, Yang 0, Yin 0. Eye Technique, 0 points. Sage Body, 0 points. Blood Inheritance Limit, 0 points. The top Chunin's Taijutsu, the bottom Genin's Ninjutsu and Genjutsu. Am I a bit biased? Kusachiba laughed at himself, but he didn't have any regrets. The value of Taijutsu in the early stage was far higher than the other two techniques. After his identity was confirmed by the guard, Kusachiba returned to Kusanagi village. However, the grass ninja village today is not peaceful. A group of people gathered in the square to watch the excitement. Yamamoto, you and your son are the only ones in the team you are leading, and you are saying that it was not you who led the team and made a mistake. Snapped. An iron whip with thorns and barbs swung through the air and slashed across the exposed back of Jonin, a grass ninja villager, instantly tearing out a piece of flesh and blood. Ah! After screaming, the middle-aged Jonin's eyes were bloodshot and he gritted his teeth and said, "Sir, it's not my fault. We, father and son, fought hard to the end and never brought shame to Kusanagi village. It's just that the situation was over and we had to retreat. Sir, please stop fighting. My father and I have tried our best." A boy about the same age as Kusachiba had tears on his face and begged bitterly. "Hey, isn't this the captain of my previous team?" Kusachiba said in surprise. He thought that they had been wiped out, but he didn't expect that the father and son actually escaped. Gradually, the memory stream completely merged with Kusachiba's, and he recalled the real situation on the battlefield. At that time, the Rock Shinobi sent out enough troops that the Kusanagi and the Konoha Shinobi were unable to resist and were about to be annihilated. "Give them all to me. Anyone who dares to take a step back is going against me, Yamamoto. Even if he escapes back to the grass ninja village, he won't survive a day." Yamamoto, the leader of the team, shouted loudly, forcing all genin to rush forward with determination. But in Kusachiba's casual glance, he discovered that Yamamoto and his son had fled amid the sacrifices of many cannon fodder genin. At that time, you used us as a shield and escaped with your son. Now you actually have the nerve to say you will do your best. Kusachiba sneered again and again, feeling happy as he watched Yamamoto, a coward, being whipped several times. Looking away, you can see that the whip holder is wearing special clothes. He is obviously a person with a high status in the Grass Ninja Village, either an elder or an elder. One more whip. After this whipping, remember your fault. The elder's eyes were stern, and the iron whip in his hand was about to fall. Sir, wait a moment. Yamamoto's son stood up and stopped in front of the elder. What, do you want to be beaten for your father? The elder looked at the young man with a sneer. Sir, we are not completely wiped out. Look there is a survivor back. If we lied, you will know if we ask him. The young man said very seriously. Oh, the elder turned his head and met Kusachiba's eyes in the crowd. My subordinate, Kusachiba, just returned from the battlefield. Seeing this, the crowd quickly moved out of the way, and the figure of Kusachiba emerged. He looked like just an ordinary young genin, but the population of Kusanagi village was sparse, and everyone knew each other. Kusachiba, I remember you are the weakest among genin, but you survived. The elder had a questioning look. The elder has made a mistake in his focus. Shouldn't we deal with Captain Yamamoto's matter now? Kusachiba shook his head and smiled. Sir, please ask Kusachiba whether my father and I fought to the bitter end. I swear, our father and son never backed down. Yamamoto's son said quickly, wanting to spare his father the punishment of the whip. Then, he shifted his gaze slightly and gave Kusachiba a warning look at a subtle angle. Takigi. Kusachiba narrowed his eyes slightly and looked at each other without fear. Ever since he became a genin, he has been hearing about the bad deeds of Yamamoto and his son, and they often regard genin as his backup. In fact, in the war just now, they did it again, using genin, including Kusachiba, as cannon fodder to create a way out for the father and son. Kusachiba, is it true that the two of them never backed down, as Hagi said? The elder's gaze shifted, and this time, there was a hint of shock in his gaze. This was the intimidation that belonged to a special level jonin. Kusachiba, my father and son treat you well, so you'd better not talk nonsense. Yamamoto's face turned pale after being slapped, but he still turned his head and stared at Kusachiba with warning eyes. Kusachiba, it's better not to talk nonsense. Yamamoto threatened Kusachiba. You know, Kusachiba is just a war orphan without any support, but Yamamoto is a superior jonin. If Kusachiba tells the truth at this time, he will never make it easy for Kusachiba. Report to your lord. Faced with the warnings and reminders from the father and son, Kusachiba smiled slightly, with a knowing smile, which made the father and son breathe a sigh of relief. However, his next words made the father and son's faces freeze instantly. These father and son are colluding together and using our genin's life as their shield. What I just said is that we will do our best and fight to the end. Haha, this is pure fart. They father and son let us stand in front, while they escaped quietly. Quote. The moment he finished saying this, the whole place fell silent. Even the elders were stunned for a moment. You're such a mouthful, go to hell, you little fool. Yamamoto's eyes were red and he rushed out. Even if his back was covered with dripping blood, he still wanted to kill Kusachiba. Stop. The elder put a hand on Yamamoto's shoulder, making him unable to move. Alas, Yamamoto, you have let me down again. I will give you another 2 lashes and I will punish you with 10 days of confinement. The elder sighed. Then, he raised his whip high, ready to swing it down. Wait a minute, Mr. Elder, there is a big doubt that has not yet been solved. Why is this kid so weak, but he can cross the battlefield and return to the Grass Ninja Village, and even escape the encirclement and suppression by the executioner of Rock Shinobi Village? Kauki said quickly. Well, this is indeed a doubtful point. The elder nodded. In my opinion, this kid Kusachiba has been cast a genjutsu by the people of Rock Shinobi Village. He is already a member of Rock Shinobi Village. That's why he falsely accuses us, father and son. Kauki opened his mouth to argue. All eyes turned to Kusachiba. Everyone is wondering, How did Kusachiba pass through the rock shinobi executioner's battle coil and return to Kusanagi village? Of course I fought a bloody path with my own fists. Kusachiba sneered. Those executioners, aren't they just a few genin? Haha, you are the weak ones, you are laughing me to death, you still expect me to be killed by those weak ones. Chicken killed. Haoki suddenly burst into laughter. You little fool, based on your strength, you still dare to call rock shinobi's genin a weakling. Kusachiba's lips curled up. How about you try with me? Let's see who is the weakling. I'm afraid of you. Suzuki grinned. He knew Kusachiba's strength best. He could defeat him with one hand even though he was a genin genius. The elder looked at Kusachiba and Suzuki. Okay, then let's have a competition. No problem. I don't have any problem either. Soon, a small open space was opened in the middle of the square, and Kusachiba and Kajiba stood face to face, preparing to fight. If you regret it, it's still too late, otherwise, I will be ruthless. Kagi's smile was cold. In Kusanagi village, the father and son did many evil things, but relying on Yamamoto Jonin's identity and status, no one had ever dared to go against them. Today, Kusachiba was the first one, which made him very disgusted. Stop talking nonsense, Kusachiba said. This kid is arrogant. Zaimu is very good among genin in all aspects. This kid is going to be tortured to death. It's a pity. It's hard to find someone who dares to speak out. The villagers sighed and shook their heads. Let's start. The elder announced calmly. Fire-style great fireball technique. After Chu Mu quickly formed a seal, he spit out a huge fireball. This is Konoha Uchiha's ninjutsu. Although it is sea level, it is not low in difficulty and very powerful. It seems that the father and son have benefited a lot from this alliance with Konoha. Everyone couldn't help but marvel. A huge fireball rolled in. Before the fireball arrived, the scorching wave blew everyone out of thin air and gave them a suffocating feeling that was difficult to resist. This is still an outsider's feeling. It can be imagined that Kusachiba, who is the target of the fireball attack, should be even more uncomfortable. This is a ninjutsu I have honed for 3 months of hard training. Tremble under my great fireball technique, you little fool, ha ha ha. Kagi laughed, extremely proud. That's it, look in front of you. Kusachiba sneered at the great fireball, which had an appearance but looked like a gimmick on the inside. He raised his hand, slowly clenched it into a fist, and then punched the fireball directly. Bang! The huge great fireball shattered into pieces and turned into countless flames, falling to the ground like marshmallows, unable to withstand the opponent's punch. No, how is this possible, my great fireball technique? Kagi was shocked on the spot. After the flames dissipated, he looked intently, but he couldn't see Kusachiba. Kneel down. Kusachiba's speed was too fast. When he appeared, he was already on the opponent's head and stepped hard on the opponent's shoulder. Plop. Takaki knelt down in response and spit out a large mouthful of blood. With this kick, his shoulder bones were crushed, which could be said to have been completely destroyed. How can it be? Everyone was stunned. Even the elders froze for a moment, unable to believe the scene in front of them. In the eyes of everyone, Takaki has always been the leader of genin in Kusanagi village, while Kusachiba is just the one at the bottom. The two are not on the same level at all. However, at this time, the result of the fight exceeded everyone's expectations. This person at the end of the crane actually hoisted the wood and hammered it, crushed the opponent's great fireball technique, which he had only acquired after several months of practice, with one punch, and trampled the opponent into a cripple with one kick. Well, his strength is quite good, a little better than those executioners, but they are all noobs. Kusachiba patted the dust on his trouser legs and said with great disappointment. Kusachiba glanced at Suzuki, full of attribute points. Killing it should give you 7 to 8 free attribute points, right? It's a pity that they are all from the same village. If Kusachiba directly killed Suzuki, it would easily attract criticism. Kusachiba looked at the elder. In this way, my suspicion will be cleared, right? What genin executioner is really a weakling in my eyes, why don't you believe it? Kusachiba glanced at everyone, turned and left. The villagers looked at Kusachiba leaving and felt that the figure looked extremely majestic and powerful. Why is his strength suddenly so strong? His physical skills just now should have reached the top level among genin, right? I don't think so, I guess it's at Chunin level. Of all the people present, only the elder could see that Kusachiba had just held back, and his true strength might be higher than the average Chunin. Not only did you harm me, but you also crippled my son. When I come out, you will be finished. Yamamoto's eyes were fixed on Kusachiba's back. As a Jonin, he can naturally see that Kusachiba's strength has indeed improved greatly than before, but it has never reached Jonin's level. After scanning around Kusanobi village, Kusachiba couldn't help but be speechless. Unexpectedly, not a single ninja from Rock Shinobi village was found. In desperation, he had to go home to rest. In the next 10 days, he would search the area almost every day, and he could be called the patrol model of Kusanagi village. Unfortunately, in 10 days, he only captured 2 ninjas from Rock Shinobi village. After killing these 2 people, Kusachiba will allocate the 10 free attribute points gained to Taijutsu. Taijutsu, 200 points plus Jonin level, 200 to 400. Ninjutsu, 10 points plus Genin level, 10 to 50. Illusion, 10 points plus Genin level, 10 to 50. Congratulations to host, your physical skills have reached Jonin level, and you will receive 35 ninjutsu attribute points and 35 illusion attribute points. The sound of the system came indifferently. Is there such a good thing? Kusachiba was slightly surprised. But if you think about it carefully, it may be a measure taken by the system to prevent yourself from being biased. Add them all. With a clicking sound, Kusachiba clicked all the free attribute points. Taijutsu, 200 points plus Jonin level, 200 to 400. Ninjutsu, 45 points plus Genin level, 10 to 50. Illusion, 45 points plus Genin level, 10 to 50. In this way, his taijutsu has reached the level of Jonin, and his ninjutsu and genjutsu have also reached the top level of Genin. This was a major breakthrough. He felt that the amount of chakra in his body had doubled, and his mind was much clearer and smarter than before. It may be the effect of the illusion attribute points. Of course, the most obvious thing is the physical aspect. Drink. Kusachiba punched out, and a punch shot out of the air, leaving a deep punch mark on a hard ancient tree. Let me go, this power is too overbearing. Is this Jonin's strength? Kusachiba was amazed. If you want to compare the key characters in the original work, it is equivalent to the taijutsu ability of Neji, who was promoted to Jonin after Shippuden. At the same time, Kusachiba noticed changes in her body. At a rough glance, he is half a head taller than before, and his muscles are more distinct. He has a streamlined muscular body. While his appearance is good, his muscles are full of explosive power, no weaker than those with large muscles. It's a good thing that his attributes and physique have improved, but there are still 2 troubles for Kusachiba today. First, Yamamoto was released, was imprisoned for 10 days, was seriously injured, and his son was abandoned. All of this was almost related to Kusachiba, and he would never be let go easily. Secondly, the next war is about to begin. As cannon fodder Genin, Kusachiba has also been assigned a task. Led by a mentor Jonin, with 3 Chunin and 6 Genin as team members, they will go to a nearby abandoned village to clear out the enemy, 6 ninjas from Rock Shinobi village. The opportunity to improve attribute points is here. Kusachiba's eyes lit up and he was already ready to go early in the morning. Soon, all the ninjas gathered at the entrance of the village, and finally, the mentor Jonin who led the team also arrived. What's happening here? Kusachiba was slightly startled when he saw the mentor Jonin walking towards him. It was Yamamoto, who he had offended before. Yamamoto has a beard, hanging eyes and a hooked nose, and he has a sinister look. Logically speaking, the higher-ups knew that the other party had a grudge against themselves, so they would not arrange for the 2 of them to be on the same team. Now that everyone is here, let's set off. Yamamoto's eyes were gloomy. He glanced at the 9 people, and then led the team to set off. However, his eyes stayed on Kusachiba for a moment. At this moment, Kusachiba saw the other party smiling with hatred and anger. I understand, am I betrayed by the upper echelons of Kusanagi village? Kusachiba couldn't help but shook his head. It seems that after defeating Hokage that day, Kusanagi still didn't realize his value and potential, and still chose Yamamoto. But this is true. Yamamoto is a highly qualified Jonin who has made a lot of contributions on the battlefield. If he were the upper echelon of the Grass Ninja village, he would not protect a Genin who has no status. Then let's see who survives this mission in the end. Kusachiba was not afraid and set off with them. Whoosh whoosh. Several figures shuttled through the trees. They were Kusachiba's team. After a few days, they finally arrived at the mission point, which was the abandoned village. Okay, we're here, let's do it. Yamamoto sneered and waved. Then, the remaining 3 Chunin and 5 genin understood, swarmed up, and rushed directly towards Kusachiba. Bring me so far away from the village, even if you kill me, no one will know about it, right? Kusachiba seems to have seen through everything. You should have understood when you offended me that you were already a corpse. The hatred in Yamamoto's eyes almost overflowed, and it was horrifying to see, showing how much he hated Kusachiba. In the ninja village, betrayal of companions is a taboo, and killing each other is a taboo, especially in a grass ninja village with a sparse population. If someone discovered that Yamamoto had killed Kusachiba, then Yamamoto would be executed on the spot, but it would not be a problem at all if he was so far away from the village. Phew. 3 Chunin and 5 genin were all Yamamoto's subordinates. They each threw shurikens and kunai, and a mass of blackness came towards them. After all, Grass Ninja is a small village, and the quality of ninjas is still too poor. The ninjutsu, kunai, and shuriken throws are too bad. If we go by the system data, the level of the Chunin of Kusanagi village is estimated to be only the strongest level of Konoha Shinobi Genin, less than 200, while the Genin of Kusanagi village is estimated to be the bottom level of Konoha Shinobi, just over 50. Kusachiba sighed and shook his head. His figure shuttled between ninjutsu, kunai and shurikens. As he moved around, every time a weapon was about to hit, it missed him. It looked dangerous, but only Yamamoto could tell that the opponent's taijutsu strength had reached Jonin's level, and it was easy to avoid these ninja tools. How long did it take to reach Jonin level? This kid must be killed as soon as possible. Yamamoto took action himself and shot towards Kusachiba, but Kusachiba's body flashed and disappeared, and he was completely thrown into the ground. Boy, let me see where you are going. Get them all and stop him. Yamamoto roared. It's just these few who stopped me. Kusachiba sneered and punched a genin at any time. The chest of a genin was dented and he was killed on the spot. Ding! Get 10 free attribute points. These Chunin genin were all diehard loyalists of Yamamoto. After receiving the order, they rushed over desperately to stop Kusachiba. However, the result is very sad. They turned into Kusachiba's attribute points one by one. Ding! Get your own attribute point 5. Ding! Get 10 own attribute points. Ding! Get your own attribute point 5. Quote. The last genin, seeing how strong Kusachiba was, turned around and ran away. However, it was too late. Kusachiba was too fast. With one kick, his spine was broken into 2 pieces. Even Tsunade came. Can't be saved. Less than 10 seconds. The 8 Chunin genin went from attacking to escaping, but no one survived. 55 attribute points, not bad, continue to add physical skills. Kusachiba said with a slight smile. Ding! Host taijutsu. 200 right pointing arrow 255 Jonin level 200 to 400. The body is stronger. A huge force is brewing. In the Jonin stage of taijutsu, every time you want to make a little progress, you need to spend 10 days and a half to practice hard. However, Kusachiba only took 10 seconds to make huge progress. You die. Yamamoto attacked from behind. His physical skills are very good, and his muscles are as wild and violent as beasts. Although his ninjutsu and genjutsu are at the bottom among the Jonin of the Grass Ninja Village, his physical skills are better than many Jonin of the Grass Ninja Village. However, that's just compared to Jonin from Kusanagi Village. If compared to Konoha Shinobi, it is estimated to be at the level of Chunin, less than 200. Compared with the upgraded Kusachiba, it is still slightly inferior. Whoosh! His sneak attack only touched the corner of Kusachiba's clothes. Just in time, let's have a competition. Come. Cao Qian smiled slightly, mockingly. Bang! The ground beneath Yamamoto's feet shattered, and his figure rushed forward like a cannonball. After spinning his body once, his twisted figure accumulated a strong explosive force, and then he swept out with one leg. Canopy. There was only the sound of fists and kicks clashing, but it was Kusachiba who used his arms to block the opponent's full force kick. Cut. Kusachiba's 5 fingers came together and turned into a hand knife, and he slashed down, instantly cutting the opponent's leg bone into 2 pieces. What? Yamamoto screamed and retreated, looking at Kusachiba in disbelief. When they just fought, the 2 sides were clearly evenly matched. How long had they not seen each other before, and the gap was actually widened? Don't let it end like this. It's really embarrassing to be a jonin. Kusachiba sneered and leaned closer. Bang touched the awning. The 2 fought back and forth for more than a dozen times, but Yamamoto could not attack Kusachiba once. Every time they fought, he would get several punch marks on his body. This is impossible, impossible. You were just a low-level person in Genin, how come? Nothing is impossible. To stop the opponent's incompetent rage, Kusachiba punched him on the bridge of the nose. Ouch! Yamamoto took several steps back, and the entire bridge of his nose was collapsed. For the first time, fear of Kusachiba appeared in his eyes. Escape. Must escape. Otherwise you will die. After Yamamoto saw that he was no match at all, the first thing he thought of was to run away. He forgot that his son was crippled by Kusachiba, and also forgot about his hatred for Kusachiba. He only thought about saving his own life. Then, he escaped. Run away quickly. What a disappointment. Kusachiba followed closely. With one of his legs missing, the opponent couldn't escape from his grasp. Ah! Kusachiba punched him in the back of the head, causing Yamamoto to fall to the ground. Next, a few punches, easily resolved. Ding! Kill Jonin and get 20 free attribute points. Gaining 20 attribute points all at once made even Kusachiba laugh out loud. If you don't do one thing or the other, don't stop, and add everything to your physical skills. Just as Kusachiba killed Yamamoto, suddenly screams came from outside. It was the screams of the villagers. And the enemy's wanton and arrogant laughter. Rock Shinobi Village. Anger rose in Kusachiba's heart. Soon, Kusachiba arrived at the small village. At first glance, it was dead and silent, without any sign of life. However, after reaching 240 in taijutsu, Kusachiba's intuition became much more sensitive than before, and he could clearly feel that there were many pairs of eyes peering at him in the dark. Rock Shinobi scum, get out of here. Kusachiba strutted directly to the village road and shouted without any scruples. This wave of provocation is full of mockery. You know, in everyone's eyes, Kusachiba is just an ordinary genin, especially his chakra, which is at most the level of a top genin, not even a chunin. In addition, he is a young boy who probably just left the village. How dare he speak so brazenly? The beasts who colluded with the fire country shall die. Whoosh! The figure of a genin from Rock Shinobi Village gradually emerged. It turned out that he was hiding among the rocks using Rock Shinobi technique. The moment he appeared, the kunai in his hand had already shot out. That's good. Kusachiba smiled slightly, stretched out his fingers, and pinched the kunai. What? Seeing this scene, the Rock Shinobi genin was stunned for a moment. This kid is a taijutsu user. Don't underestimate him. It's my turn. Boom. From the well in the middle of the street, a Rock Shinobi chunin suddenly flew out. He quickly formed seals with his hands, and a huge rock appeared in his palm. As he threw it, it violently shot towards Kusachiba. Come. Bang. Kusachiba kicked out, and the huge rock was kicked back like a football. No. In midair, the chunin had no way to dodge and was directly hit by the huge rock kicked back. Several ribs were broken and he fell from the sky. Whoosh! As he fell, the kunai in Kusachiba's hand flew out and hit him directly in the throat. Ding! Kill chunin and get 10 attribute points. Add it to the physical arts. Ding! Hosts physical skill attribute points. 255 right pointing arrow 265. Okay, next. Kusachiba stared at the other Rock Shinobi with malicious intent. No, this kid's taijutsu level is at least jonin level, everyone retreat. The chunin in Rock Shinobi has experienced many wars and knows how to weigh the pros and cons. However, he said it too late. The moment he made a sound, he was already being targeted by Kusachiba. Ah, 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 comma. Several screams soon came from this abandoned village. Ding, 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 ding. Congratulations to host, you killed 4 genin and 1 chunin, and gained a total of 30 free attribute points. Ding. Dot has been assigned to physical skills, host physical skills, 295. This wave of village missions gave many rewards, which were originally shared by Yamamoto, 3 Chunin, and 6 Genin. Now that 9 of them are dead, all the rewards from the village belong to Kusachiba. I remember that it can be exchanged for some ninjutsu, taijutsu, illusions, etc., or some military supplies. Thinking of the generous mission rewards, Kusachiba couldn't help but set off immediately and return to Kusanagi village. Unfortunately, before the war, the ninjas sent by the ninja village were basically scouts and were good at hiding. Kusachiba only caught 2 who accidentally showed up. It would be great if I had abilities like Byakugan. I could catch prey easily. Unfortunately, Byakugan is a rare bloodline boundary in the ninja world, and it is nowhere to be obtained so easily. Even in the system, his bloodline boundary attribute points are only 0 points, which does not even meet the criteria for activation. Along the way, the ninjas encountered were very rare, so Kusachiba deliberately lit a bonfire in a conspicuous place to deliberately attract the ninjas from Rock Shinobi village. This method worked well, and I gained 7 Genin and 2 Chunin along the way, for a total of 55 free attribute points. Ding! Host Taijutsu. 295 right-pointing arrow 350 Jonin level, 200 to 400. The sound of the system came. A total of 55 points of improvement in physical skills is a huge leap. Taijutsu encompasses not only strength and physical strength, but also balance, proficiency with weapons, agility, and more. Kusachiba's 340 taijutsu points, according to his own estimation, can be compared with Rock Lee in the later period. But it is a pity that Kusachiba never met any ninja from Rock Shinobi village until he arrived at Grass Ninja village. On the other hand, there are more and more patrolling ninjas in the Grass Ninja village. Originally, he could secretly kill a few ninjas from the Grass Ninja village and let his taijutsu reach Jonin's top level of 400 and break through, but those who betray their companions are a disgrace to the ninja world. Kusachiba shook his head. He is a principled person and will not become a villain like Yamamoto. A few minutes later, he returned to the Grass Ninja village and went to the Grass Ninja village mission office to report on the mission. Originally this was the captain's job, but for this mission, a total of 10 people went out, but only Kusachiba came back, so he had no choice but to report it himself. What? Yamamoto is dead. The other 8 Genin are also. Sitting above the lecture hall was the elder who had whipped Yamamoto before. He was stunned when he heard the news and obviously did not react. Then I'll take my leave. Kusachiba finished his report and was too lazy to take care of it, so he was ready to take the reward and leave. Stay and let you go. The elder shouted coldly, and saw the iron whip with barbs in his hand rolling towards Kusachiba at a very fast speed. The elder's iron whip strikes. Whoosh! Kusachiba's figure disappeared from the place, and when he reappeared, he was already in front of the elder, startling him. However, this elder's strength was at least a special level Jonin, and he did not lose his composure. He said coldly, "In this mission, the enemy only has 2 Chunin at most. You have a Jonin leading the team. How come you are the only one who comes back alive?" In fact, the elder had already made plans when he arranged this task. According to his expectation, Kusachiba would be killed by these 9 people during this mission. In this way, he successfully sacrificed an unknown Genin and retained the loyalty of a battle-hardened Jonin. However, this time he miscalculated. His decision caused the Kusanagi village to lose 1 Jonin and 8 Genin, and it also inadvertently offended the Genin in front of him who seemed to have great potential. "Excuse me, the elder, do you mean that I shouldn't come back alive?" Kusachiba glanced at him. His cold and piercing gaze made the elder frown. "When did I say this? You don't have to think too hard." The elder snorted coldly. It is truly a Grass Ninja village with a corrupt internal affairs. Even this seemingly righteous elder is doing such insidious deeds behind the scenes and is still shamelessly refusing to pay. "Sir Elder, since you chose to sell my life to Yamamoto, you will have to pay for the consequences. This is what I say," Kusachiba said calmly, and after saying a few words, the dust rolled on the spot and disappeared. "That's so fast. It seems that his physical skills have reached Jonin level." The elder was startled, and then, from the shadow behind him, a ninja with a Rock Shinobi village forehead protector walked out. Rock Shinobi. This is an enemy ninja, and he actually appears inside the Grass Ninja village. Where did this kid come from? He dared to talk to the higher-ups like this with just a little bit of Jonin's strength. This Jonin from Rock Shinobi Village said with disdain. Don't worry about him, he's just an uneducated brat, but if we join forces, he is an indispensable chess piece. The elder of the special Jonin raised his head, revealing his big beard under the mask. He glanced at the corner of his mouth and thought of a way to kill two birds with one stone. After leaving the lecture hall, Kusachiba looked back and felt a dangerous atmosphere coming from the lecture hall. After reaching a high level of physical skills, all of his senses became extremely sensitive, and his intuition was unknowingly more accurate than that of ordinary people. However, he has a system and is not afraid of anyone. At worst, the soldiers will come to cover up the water and the earth. Then Kusachiba went straight to the mission hall and received the reward for this mission. There are 9 genin and 1 jonin. You will receive all the rewards alone, right? The reward distribution personnel in the mission hall looked confused. There are various situations in the war, but when Jonin leads the team, only 1 genin comes back alive, which is incredible. Of course, he was just a person who distributed rewards, and he didn't mind his own business. He simply gave all the rewards for the 10 people to Kusachiba. Enough for me to use the Grass Ninja Village currency for a year, as well as a large number of military food pills and a ninjutsu. After counting the rewards, Kusachiba couldn't help but smile. In this way, he can almost enjoy the spicy food in Sao Ninja Village. At the same time, he will have a large supply of military ration pills when he goes out on missions, so he does not have to worry about military rations. Finally, there is the ninjutsu originally issued to Yamamoto. Wind-style tornado fist level B. Concentrate chakra in your hands and punch it out. It can be effectively combined with physical skills. It is suitable for ninjas who are good at physical skills and have wind attribute chakra. Kusachiba flipped through the secret manual of this ninjutsu and couldn't help but smile knowingly. Ninjutsu and taijutsu combine with each other, which is very useful for a person like him who is super strong in taijutsu. The characteristic of the Grass Ninja Village is that they like to secretly learn the ninjutsu of other ninja villages and then improve it themselves. The Whirlwind Fist is this kind of product. After a little research, Kusachiba went to the woods to practice. Wind-style tornado fist. As he condensed the chakra into his fist and pushed it out with his arm, a wind fist formed in front and slammed out. Bang! A bush was blown down. Blow. Fall. Kusachiba. But he soon realized that his ninjutsu points were too low. Ding! Congratulations to host for understanding wind-style tornado fist and gaining 55 ninjutsu points. 55 o'clock. That's okay. Kusachiba was stunned for a moment. I didn't expect that self-taught ninjutsu can add so many attribute points to ninjutsu. This is because host has 350 points of taijutsu ability and easily learned the B-level ninjutsu wind-style tornado fist, which is suitable for taijutsu users. The system explained. I see, for other people, it would take at least a month or 2 to learn the whirlwind fist ninjutsu. I just mastered it easily because I'm good at taijutsu, and I got so many attribute points all at once. Haha, this physical skills are not gained in vain. Good things came one after another, and then the system made several more sounds. Ding! Host's ninjutsu has reached the level of Chunin, and his genjutsu has gained 5 attribute points. Ding! Host masters wind-style ninjutsu, and the wind attribute increases by 10 points. Ding! The following are the host's current panel properties. Taijutsu, 350 points plus Jonin level, 200 to 400 affects physique, strength, agility, taijutsu, sword, kunai, shuriken. Ninjutsu, 100 points plus Chunin level, 50 to 200 affects chakra, ninjutsu, seals. Illusion, 50 points plus Chunin level, 50 to 200 affects resistance, illusion. Attributes. Wind 20 thunder 0 water 0 fire 0 earth 0 yang 0 yin 0. Eye technique. 0 points not up to standard. Sage body. 0 points not up to par. Blood succession limit. 0 points not reaching the standard. Kusachiba stared at his attribute panel for a while and nodded with satisfaction. In this way, he can be regarded as comprehensive development of morality, intelligence, physical and beauty. With a huge sum of money from this mission, Kusachiba easily got an apartment in the best area of Kusanagi village. However, This is during the war, and the country of grass is relatively poor and weak, so this apartment is not much better. Evening. After washing up, Kusachiba finally had time to carefully observe his appearance in this life. In the mirror, a boy of 14 or 15 years old was reflected. Although he could not be said to be more handsome than Sasuke, he was at least handsome and somewhat handsome. And against the backdrop of those graceful muscles, he looks much more attractive than a boy of the same age. Good. A smile appeared on Kusachiba's lips. After a night's rest, Kusachiba stretched his limbs and prepared to go out to take on a few more missions, killing ninjas from enemy countries and accumulating attribute points. But as soon as he opened the door, he saw two Jonin from the grass ninja village guarding his door. Seeing the door being opened, the two Jonin strode forward and stopped in front of Kusachiba. This is the order of the elder. Genin Kusachiba ignored organizational disciplines, contradicted the elders, and was suspected of murdering his companions in the last operation. Therefore, he was fined and cannot go out. Dvertisement. I murdered my companions. Why didn't you say that the old immortal elder murdered me? Kusachiba said with cold eyes. You know, the cause of the incident was that the Yamamoto father and son pressed him step by step, even using his life as a shield. After that, the elder planned to sacrifice himself in order to save Yamamoto. In the end, he actually had to be imprisoned. This is nothing we can do. Stay inside and don't move. Kusachiba frowned. The internal affairs of Kusanagi village were corrupt. Kusachiba had only glimpsed it once or twice in the animation, but had never thought of experiencing it in person. It was much worse than he thought. I'm hungry. You can't let me stay in there without eating, right? Or, which one of you will buy me some food? Kusachiba shrugged and said casually. Watch your words, measly Genin, you dare to order us. I think you're looking for a fight. The two Jonin have very violent tempers and despise Kusachiba greatly. Haha, two shitty Jonin, really dare to talk to me in such a condescending manner. Kusachiba snorted. You kid, let's go in and take care of him. The two Jonin were angry, and after looking at each other, they showed sinister smiles, walked into the apartment, and closed the door, intending to show off this ignorant Genin. After closing the door, only the sound of fierce fighting was heard in the apartment. Bang bang bang. You brat, how dare you fight back? Beat him to death. Little boy, I think you don't know Jonin's strength. Bang bang. Wind-style tornado fist. My knee was smashed. Oh my god, where did this kid get such strength? No, stop fighting. In the end, the room was filled with the screams of the two Jonin. After a while, the two Jonin's noses were bruised and their faces were swollen, and they were thrown out of the door like dead dogs. The space in the apartment is very small, which is best suited for close combat. Of these two Jonin, one is good at illusions and the other is good at ninjutsu. They are no match for Kusachiba, who is good at taijutsu, especially his wind-style tornado fist, which has a wind attribute of 20 points. With the addition, the power is amazing. It only took Kusachiba less than a moment to deal with these two Jonin, and he beat them until they cried for father and mother. After defeating the two of them, Kusachiba left the apartment. He soon discovered that the Kusanagi village seemed a little different today. The building next door was empty, and everyone seemed to have gone to attend some kind of gathering. This kind of thing was not uncommon during the war years. Following the scattered flow of people, Kusachiba arrived at the main square of Kusanagi village. Usually when there is something important to be announced, everyone will gather here. Today, 99% of the villagers of Sao Ninja village are here. There is a lot of people and bustling people, all waiting for the upper management to announce important news. Hey, it's the bearded elder. Kusachiba stared away and saw that the elder who had announced the major event today was the elder who had harmed him. Dear ninjas and villagers of Kusanagi village, for the sake of our respective parents and children, and to protect our current safety, I hereby announce that I will temporarily break away from our alliance with Konoha Shinobi village. The elder's voice was enhanced by chakra and spread far away. Upon hearing the news, most of the villagers were stunned for a moment. Some cursed, some took it for granted, and some raised their hands to welcome it. However, this did not go beyond the expectations of many people. After all, the grassroots in their Kusaku ninja village are well known in the ninja world. They often change sides according to the wind and lean on whichever side is stronger. Although it is a bit shameful, in the war years, survival is the most important thing. However, as superficial allies, we do not intend to break up with Konoha village. We just need to open a channel for rock shinobi. The elder said this, and then, a Jonin from rock shinobi village was seen walking out of the shadow behind him. His appearance made the entire square panic. You know, this is Jonin from the enemy country, and everyone can't help but feel nervous when he suddenly appears. Villages of grass country, don't panic, we are just passing by. We rock shinobi will intercept Konoha at Kanabi Bridge. After hearing this, Kusachiba felt moved in his heart. Kanabi Bridge, could it be the famous Battle of Kanabi Bridge? That was Konoha 47. All this time, Kusachiba only knew that he was during the Third Ninja War, but did not know the exact time. And now we finally know the exact time. To put it simply, not long after the Battle of Kanabi Bridge breaks out, Kakashi will get Obito's Sharingan, and then Obito is taken away by Uchiha Madara, setting the stage for later witnessing Kakashi killing Lin. It seems like this war has reached a fever pitch, and I must speed up the improvement of my strength. Kusachiba has a sense of crisis. In the midst of the war, the grass ninja village was like a wall with two sides to it, and was always in danger. Since they were not strong themselves, they could only follow the trend. For example, today, I temporarily gave up my alliance with Konoha and chose to help Rock Shinobi sneak across and attack Konoha village. Moreover, his system requires him to keep killing people. You can only level up by killing people. Therefore, the battlefield is the place where he can level up the fastest. If the war is over, where will he find a place to legally upgrade? Sudden. Kusachiba. Jonin from Rock Shinobi village suddenly turned his attention to Kusachiba. Me. Kusachiba frowned. Rock Shinobi village, Jonin loudly said with grief and anger. Although Rock Shinobi village and Grass Ninja village have formed an alliance, there is a ninja from Grass Ninja village that must be cleaned up. The medical genin we sent on the battlefield previously planned to kill Rock Shinobi and Grass Ninja. All the injured people in the village were brought back for treatment. Unexpectedly, they were brutally killed by Kusachiba. None of the many medical genin survived, which is really heartbreaking. Medical ninja. Haha. Kusachiba sneered. The executioners they sent out were each more cruel than the last, and they actually had the nerve to call them medical ninjas. I object. At this time, a woman wearing an apron shouted. Everyone's eyes turned away. Aunt Kimura. Kusachiba, who was hiding among the crowd, also noticed this woman. After the memory stream merged, he was able to recall that she was a good person with an extremely kind heart. During the war, Kusachiba lost his parents. It was with the help of Aunt Kimura that he barely survived and was finally able to enter the ninja school. Kusachiba is a good boy and will never do the bad things you said. And most of us have seen it a few days ago. That Yamamoto made a mistake first and wanted to take advantage of Chiba. Moreover, last time isn't it your mission to betray Chiba? Shut up. You, a good-for-nothing woman who farms, dare to talk nonsense here. At this time, the ninja from Rock Shinobi village cursed. Okay, Kimura, you don't need to say more, it's decided now. The elder sneered and echoed. No, I never agree. If you insist on handing Chiba over to Rock Shinobi, I drag her down and punish her with confinement. She is not allowed to eat or drink. The elder gave a cold shout and gave the order immediately. Yes. A Chunin took the order and walked past Kimura. He raised his fist and prepared to knock her out with a punch and take her away. Snapped. But a powerful figure appeared in front of Kimura, stretched out his palm, and blocked the punch. Kusachiba. This Chunin couldn't help but froze when he saw Kusachiba. Subsequently, wind-style tornado fist. Kusachiba, who possesses the top Jonin taijutsu level, can perform close ninjutsu, which is not something a Chunin can withstand. However, since he was from the same village, Kusachiba did not kill him. He only punched the bridge of his nose in half and disfigured him. Ah, my nose. The Chunin covered his nose and screamed. Kusachiba. Everyone was stunned. Unexpectedly, he, the center of Uzumaki, would actually appear. Logically speaking, he should have been arrested or detained a day in advance. What happened? The bearded elder was also surprised. He had sent two Jonin to guard him, but they failed to guard him. This possibility is too small. Could it be said that Kusachiba's strength has reached that level? At this moment, Kusachiba picked up the Chunin who was lying on the ground and screamed in pain, tossed him and threw him in front of the bearded elder. Then, he loudly said, "What the elders and rock shinobi Jonin said just now are all fart. Villagers of Kusanagi village, please believe in your own judgment and admit the corruption of internal politics. Don't be blinded anymore." Quote. After the words fell, the whole place was quiet, no one said a word. In fact, how many of us are not understanding people? The country of grass is already well known for its internal corruption, and Kusachiba's previous honest image is also deeply rooted in the hearts of the people. His strength is very poor, and he has always been the weakest, but he has a good character. Even if it is a war, it is impossible to distort a child's mind to that extent all at once. "I believe you, Chiba." Finally, the first villager spoke. "I trust Chiba too. The elder and that rock shinobi are talking nonsense. They just want to sacrifice you to establish our relationship with rock shinobi. We can't remain ignorant any longer. Tell the truth, Mr. Elder, have you gradually stopped treating our own villagers and our own ninjas as your own?" There was a roar of people, and the appearance of Kusachiba caused the fishing boat to tip over. It is clear, the emotions among the villagers and ninjas of Grass Ninja Village have been building up for a long time. Now, it finally broke out. "You're such a naughty and vicious little brat. How dare you say that?" The bearded elder's eyes were extremely fierce, staring at Kusachiba like a jackal, wanting to devour him alive. Public anger is like a powder keg, ready to explode. No matter how the elder explains the current situation, he cannot stabilize the situation. "Who is this cunning and vicious person?" Kusachiba asked rhetorically. Throwing students who have not mastered the three body techniques of the ninja school onto the battlefield, and then playing with the lives of outside ninjas at will, everyone in the Grass Ninja Village, can you really allow such people to stay at the top? Can you really? Are you willing to let such a person command your children to fight? Quote. Kusachiba asked loudly. Chapter 11. Following Kusachiba's questioning, all the villagers fell into deep thought, and even most of the ninjas gradually recalled their tragic experiences after becoming ninjas. Either they were sold by the superiors, or they were used as victims to make compromises and have no spine. Seeing that Kusachiba brought out the dissatisfaction in people's hearts bit by bit, the elder knew that things would get out of control if this continued, so he quickly whispered to Rock Shinobi's Jonin, "Kill him. This kid should have been killed long ago." Rock Shinobi Jonin snorted, and then rushed out. "Kusachiba, I have no control over the inside of your Grass Ninja Village, but you have to pay the price for killing a large number of our medical ninjas. Devils like you must be eradicated even in war years." While trying to clear up his actions, Rock Shinobi Jonin rushed over with lightning speed. His speed is too fast, at least Jonin level. Looking at his speed, Kusachiba came to the conclusion that he was a strong man with at least 300 points of physical skills. Generally speaking, in the Grass Ninja Village, as a Grass Ninja, he should have someone to protect him. However, none of the nearby Grass Ninja Village ninjas took any action. After looking at them, Kusachiba shook his head with a wry smile. These ninjas from the Grass Ninja Village survived the war and liked to protect themselves wisely. If any of them took action to protect Kusachiba, it was obviously against the bearded elder. Who are the elders? Below the village chief, above 10,000 people. If they offend such a big shot, their ninja career will be completely ruined. How ironic. Kusachiba deeply felt the weakness of Kusakunin village. He actually allowed a ninja from an enemy country to kill his own ninja in the village. If Kusachiba hadn't been the honest boy he was before, he would have been killed hundreds of times in this corrupt internal affairs. Come on, let me see what Rock Shinobi is capable of. Kusachiba sneered. Earth-style rock missile. I saw the Rock Shinobi Jonin falling from midair, hitting the ground with both fists, and two huge stone walls suddenly rose. After attaching the detonating charm, use the Earth Attribute Chakra to push the wall towards Kusachiba. Sizzle. Boom. The detonating talisman exploded instantly, blowing the stone wall into countless small stones. Driven by the Earth Attribute Chakra, it shot towards Kusachiba like machine gun bullets. Jonin is indeed a great nation. He is just different from our loser Yamamoto. Kusachiba's eyes lit up and he met his opponent for the first time. Wind-style tornado combination fist. After mastering this ninja, he no longer had to waste his energy on using taijutsu. After concentrating the chakra on the fist edge, he violently pushed out the power. I saw a large number of fist-shaped wind masses colliding with the rock-splitting missiles at extremely fast speeds. Boom boom boom. The dust erupted from the shattering of the rock, covered almost the entire square, blocking everyone's view. Die. Taking advantage of this opportunity, Rock Shinobi smiled cunningly and suddenly approached. Close combat. You should know that this is what I'm best at, right? Kusa Chiba's eyes were sharp. The opponent knew that he was good at physical arts, but he still chose to get close. His motives were obviously impure. Bang! Kusa Chiba was seen using extremely fast speed to easily dodge the opponent's attack, and then with one kick, Rock Shinobi Jonin was trampled to the ground, unable to move. It's time for you to take action. However, at this time, Jonin from Rock Shinobi showed a knowing smile. Helper. Kusa Chiba was slightly startled. Then, I felt a strong intimidating force coming from the front, which was the embodiment of elite Jonin's powerful strength. Boy, today is the day you die. The person coming towards him was none other than the bearded elder. I saw a ball of fine thunder and lightning appearing in his hand, which was some kind of unpredictable lightning-style ninjutsu. Lightning-style ninjutsu is famous for its destructive power, and he shot with all his strength, obviously wanting to kill as quickly as possible. Kusa Chiba. Ah, I can't see anything. What happened? Everyone get out of the square. At this time, everyone's sight was blocked by dust, and they couldn't see clearly what happened. I see, I used dust to block my view, and then constructed a false fact that I was killed by this Rock Shinobi Jonin. Kusa Chiba feels more and more cunning about the other party. At this time, he was besieged by Rock Shinobi Jonin and the bearded elder, and his death was almost certain. What a shame. At this time, an extremely deep voice came from the void, seemingly far away, and then, a human figure was seen falling from the sky. This voice came from the village chief of Kusanagi village. Village chief. Which side is he on? Kusa Chiba's eyes widened. Fire-style heavenly prison. The village chief, who only heard his voice but could not see his person, let out a loud shout, and the sound of seals exploded in his mouth. Then a flame suddenly rose, dancing in the dust like a snake, and finally directly trapped the bearded elder. Village chief. The bearded elder was so scared that he didn't dare to move. Why are you back so soon? The Jonin of Rock Shinobi was shocked when he saw the village chief return. You dare to be distracted? Go to hell. Kusa Chiba snorted, and a riot of wind formed between his fists, and he hit Rock Shinobi on the back. Boom. Ah! The Jonin of Rock Shinobi screamed in pain, and the entire ground beneath him cracked, revealing a huge crater, and he was beaten to death by this punch. Wind-style great breakthrough. I saw the village chief's voice coming for the second time, and a wall of wind emerged from somewhere with mighty power and swept across the entire square. In an instant, all the dust was blown away, and everyone's vision was finally restored. The situation in the square was also revealed behind this strong wind wall. Everyone stared and saw Kusa Chiba stepping on Jonin of Rock Shinobi village and punching him to death. The bearded elder who tried to sneak attack Kusa Chiba was trapped in the fire prison. Behind the square, the head of their grass ninja village stood far away with his hands behind his back, his gaze so deep that no one could see through it. I didn't expect that just 1 month after I went out to practice, the grass ninja village would return to the chaos it once was. I saw that the village chief was a tall man with a height of 2 meters, but his body was thin and his eyes were sunken, like an old man who was about to die. Village head. The village chief is back. Everyone showed eager eyes. The upper echelon of the group even turned slightly pale in shock. In the month since the village chief left, a lot of things have happened in Kusakunin village, the most important of which is today's decision, to temporarily dissolve the alliance with Konoha. However, the appearance of Kusa Chiba turned everything into a farce, making it impossible for all their senior leaders to step down. I can guess what happened. Now that Rock Shinobi's Jonin is dead, it's your turn. I saw the village chief's hands quickly forming seals on his chest at a dizzying speed, wind-style wind kiri. I saw a wind blade condensed by chakra flying out, drawing an arc in midair, and accurately hitting the neck of the bearded elder. Poof! The bearded elder's head fell to the ground. In our grass ninja village, there is a capital crime, and that is murdering your companions. Well, now you can rest assured that the person who murdered your companions is dead. At the same time, the Jonin of the enemy country has also been killed by this little brother. The village chief made his attitude and position clear on the spot. The village chief is wise. The village chief is wise. Numerous villagers of the Grass Ninja village shouted one after another like a wave. But this made the upper management look extremely ugly. After all, they had unanimously decided to betray Kusachiba and win over Rock Shinobi village after discussion. Village chief. This Kusachiba killed the envoy sent by Rock Shinobi. I saw an elder speaking at this time. This elder was timid and fearful, but his courage was almost shattered when he saw Kusachiba killing the Jonin of Rock Shinobi. Village chief. We give Kusachiba to Rock Shinobi now. It's not too late to turn hostility into friendship. Another elder also said tremblingly. All the villagers wanted to speak out for Kusachiba, but after thinking about it carefully, they swallowed their words. You must know that what these two elders said is correct. The enemy of Rock Shinobi village has always been Konoha village, and has never looked directly at the Grass Ninja village. If they kill the envoys of Rock Shinobi village, it is clearly a provocation. In this way, they completely become another sworn enemy of Rock Shinobi village. Grass Ninja village has always been a wallflower, and the villagers have also developed this habit. Do not be afraid. I saw the village chief of Kusanagi village coming out with a firm voice from his dry throat. Why don't you be afraid? Village chief, our Grass Ninja village is far less powerful than Rock Shinobi village. It will be easy for them to destroy us. After hearing this, everyone slowly lowered their heads. Indeed, as he said, the Grass Ninja village is too weak, which is why they have been able to protect themselves as wallowers. At this moment, the village chief of Kusanagi village walked slowly to the center of the square with his hands behind his back, and said to everyone, as long as I am alive, they will not be able to destroy us unless Tsuchikage takes action himself. Yes, the strength of our village chief is hidden deep inside. Since the war started, he has repeatedly achieved miracles, allowing our Kusanagi village to survive to this day. The village chief is our patron saint. Elders, why are you so timid when the village chief comes back? The villagers made dissatisfied noises. At this moment, all the elders looked at each other, and then they all sighed helplessly and said with some embarrassment, have you ever thought that the village chief is old and may not be the so-called it's hidden, but it doesn't have much strength anymore? How could the village chief? Hey, the chakra on the village chief's body seems to be much weaker than before. Some ninjas who have reached the level of Chunin have difficulty sensing chakra. After careful perception, they indeed find that the village chief's strength is not as good as before. What should we do? Without the village chief, we would have been destroyed by Rock Shinobi village. How so? Everyone made disbelieving sounds one after another, and at the same time, despair gradually grew in their hearts. Mr. Village Chief, we are the ones closest to you in the village, but you know your own situation much better than we do. Why do you choose to go against Rock Shinobi village? The elders let out extremely helpless sighs. In their eyes, the village chief may be old and confused. The village chief has always maintained a clear mind and strong strength. In his heyday, his strength could even compete with the shadows of the 5 major countries. His strategy and intelligence in his youth impressed all their elders. But now, he actually killed the bearded elder for a mere genin, and even allowed Kusachiba to kill the ninjas of Rock Shinobi village. You know, behind the scenes, this ninja is still an envoy sent by Rock Shinobi village. If the 2 countries are at war, Buza will come as an envoy. Otherwise, it will represent the biggest provocation. If their own messenger is beheaded, Rock Shinobi village will definitely be furious, and the hostility towards Kusanobi village will rise to the same level as Konoha village. You are afraid of Rock Shinobi village's revenge, or even whether our Grass Shinobi village can survive until the end of the Third Ninja World War, right? The village chief said yes, but his eyes were deep, as if he had seen through everything. Isn't the village chief afraid? The elders shook their heads and said, Village chief, your strength is retreating every day, and the Third Ninja War has just entered a fierce stage. With all due respect, village chief, you alone cannot protect us until this time. The war is over. As soon as these words came out, all the villagers lowered their heads, and many ninjas also lowered their heads. It's not that they are not brave enough, but that the strength of their grass ninja village is indeed very weak. Even if they fight desperately, they cannot be the opponent of Rock Shinobi village. Under such circumstances, without the protection of the village chief, it was only a matter of time before their village was wiped out. Don't worry, everyone, have you forgotten about another strong person besides me? At this moment, the village chief raised his finger, and everyone looked in the direction of his finger. It was the boy who had just killed Rock Shinobi Jonin, Kusachiba. Kusachiba. Everyone stared at the handsome young man. Indeed, this young man has performed many miracles in the past few days. He has saved many dangers and even survived to this day in the face of threats from elders. He even killed a Jonin from Rock Shinobi village. You know, the Jonin of the 5 great nations is not as simple as the Jonin of the Grass Ninja village. The Rock Shinobi Jonin just now is at least 3 times as strong as Yamamoto. Kusachiba's growth rate is indeed amazing. Chiba, what are your intentions? The village chief smiled slightly, with a hint of respect in his eyes. He had no intention of looking down on Kusachiba just because he was a child. Kusachiba smiled slightly. Although I have no sense of belonging to the Kusunin village, I can be considered a homeless person, and I have grown up in the Kusunin village. As long as the internal affairs no longer disappoint people with corruption, as long as there aren't that many cowards like Big Beard with high combat abilities, then it wouldn't be a bad idea for me to stay in the Grass Ninja village and help. He really hates these corrupt and short-sighted elders in Kusanagi village, but now that he sees the village chief, he can feel his righteousness and confidence. It can be imagined that after his return, Kusunin village will no longer be as shameless as in the original work. Spineless. Of course, excluding these trivial matters, what Kusachiba is most concerned about is the focus of this battle, the Battle of Canopy Bridge. His own strength is too weak in a war, and intelligence, resources, and strength cannot reach a high level in a short period of time. In these aspects, Kusanagi village can provide him with convenience. Especially, the Battle of Canopy Bridge is about to break out. This war will involve a series of strong men such as Kakashi, Uchiha Obito, Namikaze Minato, etc., not to mention Uchiha Madara, who is controlling it behind the scenes. These are great opportunities. Kusachiba has long been prepared to join the Third Ninja World War as a ninja of Kusanagi village and accelerate the accumulation of strength. Chiba, you have been ostracized and persecuted many times, but you are still willing to contribute to our Grass Ninja village. I am very grateful. At this moment, the village chief of Kusanagi village made an action that shocked everyone in Kusunin village. He walked up to Kusachiba, kneeled down on the ground with both hands. At this moment, the whole square could hear the drop of a needle. Everyone held their breath and looked at this scene in disbelief. The village chief, whom they had always respected as the strongest, actually knelt down to a 10-year-old child. Village chief, you. The elders jumped up in fright. They couldn't figure out why the dignified village chief would abandon his dignity and kneel down to a genin. Maybe you don't understand now, but you will understand later. The village chief sighed. No, Kusachiba said calmly and waved his hand without giving him a good look. He jumped up and disappeared from their sight while everyone opened their mouths in surprise. After leaving the square, Kusachiba couldn't help but frown slightly. Village elder, it's not easy. Kusachiba himself still likes to keep a low profile, but this time, he was tricked by the village chief. You know, in the world of ninjas, especially during wars, the more famous you are, the more dangerous you are. The other party forced yourself to wear a top hat. First, to atone for the persecution done to him by the bearded elder and Yamamoto. Secondly, let all villagers realize the importance of Kusachiba, including some who are kind to Kusachiba, such as Aunt Kimura before. Thirdly, Kusachiba was forced to become the most shining presence in the Grass Ninja village. It is said that with great power comes great responsibility, so he had to take responsibility for the Grass Ninja village. Older gingers are more spicy. Kusachiba sighed helplessly. To be able to protect such a weak village to survive in troubled times, the village chief is also a capable person. However, what surprised Kusachiba the most was the way he looked at people. He could tell at a glance that Kusachiba was different from ordinary people. Now I have to join forces with the Grass Ninja village, but this is what I expected. It's not a big deal. Kusachiba thought like this, swaying past the eaves like a flying swallow. Not long after, he returned to his residence and saw the two Jonin who had been beaten with bruises and swollen faces and were still unconscious there. Roll. Kusa Chiba kicked them one by one and kicked them far away, directly back to the room. It was getting late, and the sun was gradually setting. After the villagers of Sao Ninja Village finished their gathering, they went back to their homes. Smoke was coming out of the chimneys of many of the rooms, and the smell of rice was coming. Kusa Chiba sighed briefly. He is 10 years old now. His parents in this life died during the war. If he had not been possessed by him in time travel, he would still be a poor child. He has no father to love him and no mother to love him. His life is squeezed by the Yamamoto father and son. His life experience is even more miserable than Naruto's. However, this is all in the past. Now that Kusa Chiba has been strengthened by the system, his future is bright. Just now, as the head of a village, the strong man seemed to have seen his future, and knelt down to apologize to him, asking him to protect the Grass Ninja Village. System, how did I gain today? Ding. Kill a rock shinobi village Jonin and get 20 free attribute points. 20 free attribute points is already a big gain. System, focus all your attention on taijutsu. My taijutsu must be at the same level as elite Jonin. Ding. Adding points. Taijutsu. 350 right pointing arrow 370 points plus Jonin level. 200 to 400 affects physique, strength, agility, taijutsu, sword, kunai, shuriken. System prompt. There are still 29 points left to reach the peak, unable to continue improving. Ninjutsu. 100 points plus Chunin level. 50 to 200 affects chakra, ninjutsu, seals. Illusion. 50 points plus Chunin level. 50 to 200 affects resistance, illusion. Attributes. Wind 10, thunder, 0, water, 0, fire, 0, earth, 0, yang, 0, yin, 0. Eye technique. 0 points not up to standard. Sage body. 0 points not up to par. Blood succession limit. 0 points not reaching the standard. With a taijutsu attribute of 370 points, Kusa Chiba is already superior to most Jonin. However, he still cared about one thing. System, what does peak mean? Do you mean that physical skills cannot be improved after reaching 399 points? Kusa Chiba even asked. Ding, if the physical skills are too high and other aspects cannot keep up, it will cause chakra imbalance, resulting in symptoms such as slower improvement, poor physical fitness, and inability to coordinate all aspects of the body. In ancient terms, it is going crazy, so the system imposes restrictions. I see. Kusa Chiba nodded. It is indeed enough to reach 399 in taijutsu. Jonin's top level of taijutsu is enough for him to survive for a while. As for his weak points, ninjutsu and genjutsu, he can use this time to catch up. You must know that there is no partiality in the true powerhouse. Top powerhouses such as Deidai Hokage and Uchiha Madara are far superior to ordinary people in terms of taijutsu, ninjutsu, and genjutsu. Kusa Chiba is a highly motivated person who looks far ahead and does not want to stick to just physical skills. After one day, Kusa Chiba appeared in front of the villagers and ninjas of Grass Ninja Village. He clearly felt that no matter where he went, someone would look at him with respect. Although, there are still a large number of people who have doubts about their own strength. But everyone agrees that Kusa Chiba is very valued by the village chief. After all, the village chief is the one everyone respects, but such a big shot actually knelt down in front of Kusa Chiba. Within a few days, after discussions with the upper echelons of Kusanagi village, they decided to grant Kusa Chiba a Jonin qualification certificate and various Jonin equipment. Sure enough, Jonin's equipment is different from that of ordinary ninjas. At this time, Kusa Chiba's clothes contained special light metal pieces infused with chakra, which could not be penetrated by ordinary ninja tools. And his forehead protector is also processed, which is light and has enough hardness. After that, there are all kinds of ninja tools. However, Kusa Chiba basically has no need for these things. He believes that a strong man always relies on himself, and external forces are only external forces after all. This is why he particularly prefers the attribute point of physical skills. This is the youngest Jonin in the history of our Kusakunin village. It stands to reason that generally Jonin requires sufficient mission experience to obtain it. Why is Kusachiba Jonin suddenly qualified? I think this is very inappropriate. After all, I'm just a child and I haven't been on the battlefield a few times. I don't accept it. The voices of the villagers and ninjas ranged from support to opposition, but without exception, no one dared to challenge Kusachiba head-on. At that gathering, although everyone's vision was obscured by dust, it was certain that the Jonin from Rock Shinobi village was killed by Kusachiba himself. Putting aside his qualifications and experience, Kusachiba's strength is definitely fully qualified. Master Kusachiba, the village chief is looking for you. In front of him, a young man who looked submissive appeared. He lowered his hat so that Kusachiba could not see his face clearly. However, there is a slump in his shoulder, which is obviously Yamamoto's son Taiki. Kagi is extremely embarrassed now. His father failed to kill Kusachiba but was killed instead. He tried to kill Kusachiba many times in secret, but he never had the chance. However, Kusachiba's strength and status were rising rapidly. Not too long ago, he defeated Kusachiba in 10 moves. But now, Kusachiba can deal with him with just one finger, not even a few seconds. The village chief sent you here to pick me up with good intentions. Haha. Kusachiba smiled mockingly without any sympathy. This father and son, Kusagi and Yamamoto, worked together in collusion, committed many evil deeds, and used the lives of their companions as a shield, which really made Kusachiba feel disgusted. Now one of them is dead and the other is disabled, and they deserve it. Yes, Tauki nodded humbly, not daring to resist at all. The so-called upper beam is not straight and the lower beam is crooked. His father is as timid as a mouse. No wonder this tree has no blood at all. Such a person will only be a passerby in the future, and Kusachiba will not be interested at all. Subsequently, under the leadership of Haumu, Kusachiba came to the Elders' Hall. Here, the top brass of Kusanagi village gathered together to discuss major issues. Therefore, Kusachiba does not like this place. He only feels that it is a group of short-sighted old men making random decisions. Only, today is different. I saw an old man sitting in the highest seat of the Elders' Hall, whose demeanor seemed peaceful, but inadvertently exuded the aura of a top powerhouse. This man is the village chief, Jonin Kusachiba. After discussion, we decided to send you and an elite Jonin to jointly lead a small team to Kanabi Bridge to fight against Rock Shinobi with the Konoha Shinobi. The village chief said, I accept this mission. Kusachiba nodded. Elder Whitebeard said, Kanabi Bridge is an important strategic point. According to intelligence, it is the most important supply route for Rock Shinobi. It has a very significant impact on the entire war situation. The village chief nodded and continued. Therefore, the main task of Chiba and your team is to assist the Konoha Shinobi to destroy the bridge and cut off their supplies. When the time comes, the ninjas of Rock Shinobi village will not fight. And failed. Kusachiba nodded slightly, and then suddenly asked, Village chief, are the ninjas sent by Konoha a team of 4? How do you know there is exactly a team of 4 people? The village chief was slightly startled. The other elders also looked at each other. This mission can be said to be a secret among secrets. Even Konoha sent Hokage's most important cronies here. It is said that the leader sent this time, named Namikaze Minato, is even a candidate for the next Hokage. Not only is Hokage the most trusted person, he is also one of the most powerful combat forces in Konoha. After the start of the Third Ninja War, he used his speed to set a record that shocked the world, and he was even known as Konoha's Yellow Flash. By sending such a powerful combat force, one can imagine how seriously Konoha attaches importance to this confidential mission. Then this mission has been accepted by my subordinates. But what's the matter with there being an elite Jonin? Kusachiba asked with a change of subject. I will go with you. At this time, Elder Long stood up and said with narrowed eyes. Elder Long. Kusachiba also narrowed his eyes and looked at the village chief questioningly. You know, Elder Taki and Elder Bearded are cousins. Kusachiba indirectly killed Elder Bearded, and there is obviously a blood feud between Elder Taki and Elder Taki. And knowing this situation, the village chief still chose to let Elder Taki go with him. Elder Taki's strength is at least elite Jonin, and if he wants to kill Kusachiba in action, he can do it. The village chief was a little embarrassed. hesitated for a moment, and finally said with a short sigh, "It's better to tell us all about our situation, otherwise Chiba will not be able to feel at ease." Hearing this, all the elders present looked embarrassed. Including the village chief. They all stood up together, rolled up their sleeves uniformly, and showed off their arms. I saw a layer of strange marks spreading on the meridians of all of their arms. "Chiba, you and all the villagers don't know that a few months ago, a man in an Uzumaki mask came to make a deal with us. If we don't agree, all of us will die on the spot, and the Kusanagi village, and he had long been eliminated by one person," the village chief said with a short sigh. "This is..." Kusa Chiba stared at the mark on their hands. It was in the shape of a ring, black and red, and the most conspicuous thing was the looming magatama on the edge. "Is it a genjutsu cast by Mangekyo Sharingan?" Kusa Chiba touched his chin and said. Mangekyo Sharingan. All the elders present, including the village chief, were shocked and looked at this 10-year-old boy in disbelief. How did he know that the other party possessed Mangekyo Sharingan, and that this illusion mark was so profound that even an illusion master could not understand even a little bit of it? However, this young boy hit the nail on the head. "Why are you reacting so loudly?" Kusa Chiba said helplessly. After all, he liked Hokage very much in his previous life. This round mark coupled with the black and red magatama, what is it if it's not Sharingan? Coupled with the spiral-shaped masked man that the village chief just mentioned, isn't that Zetsu who collaborated with Uchiha Madara? After a little bit of association, you will know that it was Uchiha Madara who borrowed white Zetsu to attack them. Chiba, your parents have passed away a long time ago, and we know your life story clearly. You have never left the Grass Ninja Village. How on earth do you know this? Elder Whitebeard asked in confusion. "Sorry, confidentiality," Kusa Chiba said coldly, making everyone shake their heads helplessly. "Chiba, don't think that we haven't resisted. The masked man is stronger than any opponent I have ever encountered. At that time, we thought it would be a battle that shocked the entire Kusanagi village, but in the end, no one was left. We all lost," the village chief said with some embarrassment. "It's okay, I believe it. The opponent is Black Zetsu, and Kusanagi village is just a small village. In addition, most of these strong men are old men. How can they be Black Zetsu's opponent? What secret does this boy hide?" The elders couldn't help but wonder when they saw Kusa Chiba's reaction. Elder Whitebeard. Although the mysterious man never came to us again after that, our strength is regressing rapidly every day under the suppression of this mysterious man's illusion. This is why we elders have repeatedly made sacrifices and failed to do so. The reason why I dare to openly oppose Rock Shinobi Village. If they had the strength, who would be willing to succumb to the power of Rock Shinobi Village? To be honest, I went out these past few months not to practice, but to find a way to break this illusion. It's a pity. The village chief shook his head and crushed the handle of the seat with a palm of grief and anger. Afterwards, the village chief calmed down and said, "Of all the people present, only Elder Taki went out to collect intelligence at that time, so he escaped. All of us, our strength was greatly reduced, and it was almost impossible to leave the Grass Ninja Village. Therefore, Elder Taki is the only one who has the ability to participate in the mission with you." Kusa Chiba understood. This Grass Ninja Village was a little too miserable. Not only was it pushed back and forth by the two major countries and played in the palm of their hands, it was also targeted by Uchiha Madara in times of crisis, almost destroying all the top leaders. Now, even Elder Taki is the only one who has the ability to go out with him. From this point of view, this Grass Ninja Village is quite helpless. Konoha Village sent out a yellow flash. We, the Grass Ninja Village, want to show our sincerity and must not be perfunctory. Chiba's strength is obvious to all, but Konoha doesn't know it, so Elder Taki is our representative. The village chief said. All right. Kusa Chiba had no choice but to nod. Don't worry, although Elder Taki has a somewhat impatient personality, he is fair and honest. He is not the same as his cousin. The village chief also explained in words. Is that really the case? Kusa Chiba stared over and saw Elder Taki snorting coldly and staring at him with joy and fearlessness. Indeed, from the eyes of Elder Taki, Kusa Chiba only saw disdain and dissatisfaction, but did not feel any murderous intention. His physical skills reached 370 points, his sensory abilities were also very powerful, and his intuition was very accurate. I was asked to go on a mission, but I still had to look at the face of a kid. Elder Long said angrily, very dissatisfied. However, there was nothing that could be done about it, and everyone shrugged helplessly. It didn't take long. Elder Taki and Kusachiba gathered at the entrance of the village, and they also brought 3 chunin with them. This time, the team has only 5 people and is mainly streamlined. After all, the main content of this mission is a sneak attack, and the fewer the number of people, the better. Just like Konoha, they sent out the most elite team. Everyone is ready, let's go immediately. Whoosh whoosh. After the 5 figures escaped into the forest, they jumped between the branches like flying swallows and hurried on as fast as possible. If it is the same as in the original work, then this battle at Canopy Bridge will be the turning point for Namikaze Minato's class and the starting point for the second half of Hokage's plot. Kusachiba looked forward to it, and his feet involuntarily accelerated. Elder Taki was slightly surprised. As the captain, he was leading the race. He did not expect that Kusachiba's speed would almost catch up with him. Captain, what is our plan? At this time, a chunin asked quickly, fearing that the impatient Elder Taki would rush into the enemy camp regardless of the occasion and cause a scene. The first step is to kill the rock shinobi scout who is following us. Elder Long snorted coldly, and suddenly stood still on the spot, with his hands forming a lightning-like seal on his chest, water-style water chongbo. Boom! For an instant, a swirling stream of water appeared in front of him like a tornado, rising 10 meters into the air. Then, under his control, it condensed into a large river and rushed into a rocky area behind everyone. Ah, this is impossible, my rock shinobi technique was actually cracked. Only a few ninjas from Rock Shinobi Village appeared on the spot. They were hiding here in Earth style, but they were discovered by the other party. Oh my god, when did they squat there? The 3 chunin were dumbfounded. After carefully sensing the chakra, one can detect that among these ninjas, there is at least 1 jonin and 2 chunin. It's elite jonin. Run! When the other party saw Elder Long, they all ran away in fear. Great, chase them away. The 3 chunin breathed a sigh of relief. After all, the opponent is just a scout, and his combat power is not as good as that of ordinary ninjas, but it is still very dangerous when he is really big. After all, the opponent is a ninja from Rock Shinobi Village. The ninja education system in the 5 major countries is more complete, and the ninjas they train are very strong in all aspects. Not to mention, one of these scouts is Jonin from Rock Shinobi Village. Chase! However, at this time, Elder Long shouted angrily and took the lead in charging forward. What? The other 3 chunin were panicking. What the hell? They managed to avoid a battle, but Elder Taki came to trouble them instead. Chase! I saw another figure sprinting out after Elder Long. None other than Kusachiba. What's going on? What's going on with these 2 people? The 3 chunin were on the verge of tears, wondering why these 2 would risk their lives to chase the ninjas from Rock Shinobi Village. I hate it when people sneak around and do shameful things behind the scenes. These Rock Shinobi scouts are as annoying as flies. It's best to kill them as soon as possible. Elder Taki snorted. He is an elite jonin, extremely strong in all aspects, and his speed is not inferior to Kusachiba. His purpose is also very simple, just to kill as many enemy troops as possible. In fact, Kusachiba's winter is even simpler than him. In his eyes, the ninja in front of him is no longer the ninja of Rock Shinobi Village, but his own ninja with 2 feet who is about to fall into his mouth. Attribute points. Water-style water wall. Elder Taki slapped his hands on the ground, and his chakra was transmitted through the earth to a nearby river, and went straight upstream against the river, exploding in front of the escaping Rock Shinobi Village ninja. Boom! A huge wall turned into water stood in front of them, blocking their way. If you don't drink the toast, you'll have to drink the fine wine. An old elite jonin man and a little brat really dared to chase us. Brothers, kill them both. Rock Shinobi Village was forced to jump over the wall and fought back fiercely. Earth-style Iwasu crash. Rock Shinobi jonin chakra erupted, and after forming the seal, it slammed onto the surrounding rock wall. Suddenly, the rock wall seemed to collapse, and a huge rock fell down, pointing directly at Kusachiba and Elder Taki. Whizzing! Kusachiba and Elder Taki avoided it at extremely fast speeds, and the opponent's move at best pushed them back into a corner. However, as if they had practiced it hundreds of times. The other two rock shinobi Chunin immediately formed a seal together to release the ninjutsu, Earth-style Tundao Domu. Boom! Behind Kusachiba and Elder Taki, rocks suddenly spread out and were about to surround them. Water-style Water Dragon Bomb Technique. Elder Long snorted coldly, and a stream of water suddenly shot out from the nearby river, condensing into the shape of a dragon, with an extremely ferocious face, and roared straight into the rock prison cell. Boom! The rock cell was shattered into pieces in the blink of an eye under the impact of huge water pressure. What? There is such a strong person in the grass ninja village. I'm afraid he is an elder in their village. The two rock shinobi Chunin panicked. Retreat, can't stay long. Rock shinobi Jonin made a prompt decision and gave them the order to retreat. But as soon as they turned around, they saw that the water-style water wall that Elder Taki had set up before had not disappeared. Instead, under the control of chakra, it surrounded the three of them. Oops, what chakra control this is? The three rock shinobi village ninjas were shocked, but they were helpless against the huge water flow and allowed their bodies to be imprisoned by the water flow. Death. Elder Taki took out the kunai and was about to harvest it. Suffer death. Suddenly, a figure rushed out and drew a bloody mark on the necks of the three of them as fast as possible. His speed was so fast that even Elder Taki couldn't react for a moment. Ding! Kill the Shadow Rock Shinobi Chunin and get 10 free attribute points. Ding! Kill the Shadow Rock Shinobi Chunin and get 10 free attribute points. Ding! Kill the Shadow Rock Shinobi Jonin and get 20 free attribute points. Kusachiba smiled slightly, twirled the kunai in his hand, shook off the bloodline, and pocketed it. Elder Taki was stunned for a moment, and then he almost stomped his feet in anger. He spent most of chakra laying out and trapping people, but in the end his head was robbed by Kusachiba. Ah, it was so thrilling. If it hadn't been for Elder Long's help, I'm afraid these three people would have run away. Elder Long is so strong, I admire you so much. I saw Kusachiba looking innocent, patting his chest and saying with a scared look on his face. You, little fool. Elder Taki was furious. At this time, the three Chunin had also arrived. Hey, it's all solved. We don't have a role to play. It's too strong. In just a short time, one Jonin and two Chunin died. The three Chunin said in surprise. HMPH, let's set off and meet up with the Konoha shinobi as soon as possible. Elder Taki glanced at Kusachiba dissatisfiedly, and the mission was still the priority. He immediately led the team out of here. Not long after, they arrived at the meeting point. And suddenly, the sound of two children arguing was heard not far away. In such troubled times, there is such a loud quarrel. I hope it is not our friendly forces in Konoha, otherwise it will be too disappointing. Elder Taki narrowed his eyes. If you think too much, they are our friendly forces in Konoha. Kusachiba spread his hands and said, Fart, Konoha sent us an elite team, how could it be possible? Elder Taki was halfway through his words, and immediately stared at the scene in front of him in stunned silence. I saw 4 ninjas carrying Konoha's forehead protector walking out of the forest. One of them with shining golden hair was Konoha's Namikaze Minato, and the 2 people quarreling were 2 of his subordinates, Uchiha Obito, Hatake Kakashi. See, Kusachiba spread his hands. The 3 Chunin and Elder Taki were confused and looked at Kusachiba in disbelief. Did he really guess it correctly? Namikaze Minato's management is still too loose. Normally, a ninja who performs this kind of sneak attack mission would not be able to shout. Of course, the main reason for this is that Namikaze Minato is too strong. Even if the disciple shouts and attracts enemy ninjas, he is confident that he can easily deal with it. Finally, the ninjas of Kusanagi village and the ninjas of Konoha met at the agreed place. After confirming each other's identities, the 2 parties met in front of the stream. Are all the ninjas in Konoha so unscrupulous? This is a battlefield, and the mission we perform is a confidential mission. Are we not afraid of leaking secrets by shouting like this? Elder Taki scolded, blowing his beard and glaring. Facing the legendary ninja Namikaze Minato, he did not give in at all. I'm very sorry, I didn't discipline them correctly. Namikaze Minato looked apologetic and said solemnly. He then hit both Hatake Kakashi and Uchiha Obito on the head. Boom! The heavy knocking sound sent chills down the spines of the 3 Chunin in the grass ninja village. Is this too much force? Within a few seconds, a big bump appeared on each of Kakashi and Obito's heads. Kakashi was okay, holding back the pain, and his head was covered with beads of sweat. Obito rolled on the ground in pain. Minato-sensei, you are using too much force. I'm here to treat you. Lin, who was watching from the sidelines, stepped forward distressedly and used medical ninjutsu to treat her two companions. Have you already drawn up a battle plan? At this time, Namikaze Minato asked politely. Combat plan, isn't that formulated by you as the commander-in-chief? Elder Long said straight and forward. Indeed, it's just that I don't know the strength of your team very well. After all, we sent you team information, but you didn't respond at all. Namikaze Minato said with a slight smile. At the same time, one of his hands behind his back has already grasped the special kunai. As soon as he finds anything strange about the 5 people in Kusanagi village, he will take action immediately. What a strong breath. Elder Taki and Kusachiba both felt the slight leak of Namikaze Minato's strength. It can be expected that, except for Kusachiba, the other 3 Chunin facing Namikaze Minato may all be eliminated in less than 2 seconds. And if Kusachiba and Elder Taki join forces, they will not be his opponent. There have been some changes in the Grass Ninja Village these days, so the exchange of information is not timely enough, but now everything has been handled properly. As for the information on our side of the ninja, I will leave it to you now. Elder Taki snorted softly, and threw a piece of information to Namikaze Minato in an unreasonable manner. I have accepted this information, but the Grass Ninja Village has been behaving strangely recently. I hope they don't do anything extraordinary. Otherwise, whether the 5 of you can return to the Grass Ninja Village is a question. Although Namikaze Minato showed a warm smile, no one dared to underestimate his intimidation. This is Namikaze Minato during the war. That look is really scary. Kusachiba couldn't help but look at it curiously. The original work describes Namikaze Minato's kindness and integrity, but in fact, he was a humanoid killing machine during the war. The reputation of Yellow Flash was built on countless corpses. After confirming the seal of the information, Namikaze Minato read it and circulated the information to Lin, Obito, and Kakashi. After the 4 of them browsed through all the information on the 5 ninjas in their Grass Ninja Village. 10-year-old Jonin, Obito and Nohara Rin raised their heads in astonishment and stared at the boy who was younger than them. Snort. At this time, Kakashi was arrogant. As a genius of Konoha, he had never seen anyone with a higher talent than himself, but today, he finally saw a genius who was younger than himself and had become Jonin. After Kakashi snorted coldly, there was a hint of challenge in his eyes. Is your name Chiba-kun? You're so awesome. Even in Konoha, we rarely see geniuses like you. Nohara Lin said with a surprised look. But her surprise turned into jealousy in Obito's heart. He glanced at Kusachiba unkindly and said, Tisk, isn't he just Jonin from a remote ninja village? Our strengths are different, and our assessment of Jonin is also different. Quote. Not only Obito, but even Kakashi stared at Kusachiba and said, I hope your strength is worthy of the title of Jonin. Wah, what, can't you look down on the Shonen village? I saw that the 3 Chunin from the Grass Ninja Village couldn't hold themselves back. These 3 children were too arrogant, but they wanted to refute, but they were speechless for a long time. After all, what they said is true. The Kusanagi village is indeed weak and pitiful. Their strongest Jonin may not be as powerful as Konoha's weakest Jonin. Even 2 or 3 Konoha Chunin teamed up to be able to compete with the Jonin branch of Kusanagi village. Namikaze Minato, is this how you discipline your subordinates? Elder Long narrowed his eyes and said, Sorry. Several black lines appeared on Namikaze Minato's face, and then his brains collapsed. He directly shot Kakashi and Obito backwards, and it took him a long time to regain his balance. This time, even Kakashi groaned in pain, and Obito once rolled on the ground. Nohara Rin looked panicked and wanted to go to treatment, but was stopped by Namikaze Minato. Let them both suffer for a while and remember it for a long time. Namikaze Minato shook his head helplessly. A little kid who doesn't realize the seriousness of the war. At this time, Kusachiba finally spoke and glanced at Kakashi and Obito with disdain. His gaze was colder than anyone else's, and even Namikaze Minato felt a chill down his spine when he saw it. After all, Kusachiba has experienced many near deaths before he is alive now. In a sense, he is already a person who has died once. He knew much more about the cruelty of war than the 3 children in Konoha. Oh, I just happened to be promoted to Jonin, let's have a test. Kakashi was one step ahead of Obito and challenged Kusachiba. Kakashi, calm down, and Obito, come over and apologize to Chiba-kun. Namikaze Minato scolded helplessly. These 2 people are still a little too immature. This is a battlefield, and they are friendly forces, so they are going to fight as soon as they meet. No need to apologize. Kusachiba waved his hand and said indifferently, you will know my strength in the next mission. Okay, Namikaze Minato, tell me your battle plan. Kusachiba has an old-fashioned look on his face, much more mature than Obito and Kakashi. Nohara Rin couldn't help but look at Kusachiba a few more times. This was noticed by Obito, and he almost exploded with anger. All right, Namikaze Minato shrugged and said, you must already know the importance of Kanobi Bridge. Of course, the moment this information was leaked, Rock Shinobi Village immediately sent a large number of troops to the front line to exert pressure. So we must divide our troops into 2 groups. One group will continue to perform the task of destroying the Shinwubi Bridge, and the other group will go to the front line with me to support. In the original history, after Namikaze Minato sent the team to the border, he had to go to support due to the huge pressure on the front line, and entrusted the important task of blowing up the Kanobi Bridge to the 3 of Kakashi. The appearance of Kusachiba caused the Grass Ninja Village to not give up its alliance with Konoha, and even sent troops to support this secret operation. This also made the difficulty of this mission much lower. Fujiwara-kun, Kusunoki-kun, Myun-kun, you 3 are experienced chunin, good at frontal combat, but Elder Taki's personality does not seem to be suitable for sneaking in. Namikaze Minato gave the proposal. HMPH, you mean, let all of us, except Kusachiba, go to the frontal battlefield, right? Elder Taki said. Yes, of course, as one of the combat forces, I will also go with you. Namikaze Minato replied politely. Kusachiba narrowed his eyes. This Namikaze Minato is really cautious. He put all his important combat forces, including himself, on the frontal battlefield. In this way, Rock Shinobi had to face the counter-pressure of Konoha and Kusanagi, and his attention was diverted. This makes it easier for others in the team to destroy the Kanobi Bridge. At the same time, it also created a one-to-many situation between the ninjas of Kusanagi village during the Kanobi Bridge mission. Minato-sensei wants to suppress Elder Taki and the other 3 ninjas from Kusakunin village with 1 person, while relying on the 3 of us to suppress Kusachiba. Kakashi explained to the other 2 companions. I see, Mr. Minato is still worried about the Grass Ninja Village. Nohara Rin and Obito nodded, understandingly. It seems that you still don't trust our Grass Ninja Village. Elder Taki said angrily. If he really follows Namikaze Minato's combat arrangements, then Kusachiba will have to face 3 Konoha shinobi alone. Among them, Obito is a member of the Uchiha family. He may open Sharingan at some point, and the potential is extremely huge. Nohara Rin is an excellent medical ninja, and she is as chunin as Obito. As we all know, the chunin of the 5 great nations are not much weaker than the jonin of a small village like Kusakunin village. Plus, they have a son with Konoha's white fang, Kakashi. Such a lineup is going to overwhelm Kusachiba so much that he can't even lift his head. It's okay, let's arrange it this way. However, Kusachiba, who was at the center of the storm, had no objection at all. What, Chiba, you have to think clearly. There were only 3 other chunin from the Grass Ninja Village who couldn't help but remind them. You know, Konoha is glamorous on the surface, but there are too many conspiracies behind the scenes. If they have already known that the Grass Ninja Village has betrayed them, then it is possible for this operation to wipe out their Grass Ninja Village. And with this arrangement, Konoha has too much advantage. First, he used the legendary combat power of Namikaze Minato to suppress Elder Taki. Then used 3 outstanding ninjas to suppress Kusachiba. At first glance, it looks like a complete crushing. Haha, we don't even know who is stronger. Why do we have so much consideration? Kusachiba smiled lightly, and then said, now that the battle plan has been arranged, let's act separately. No one expected that Kusachiba, who was at the most disadvantaged position, seemed to be the most excited one. In that case, let's go. Namikaze Minato waved his hand, and the group of people immediately divided into two waves. The wave was dominated by Namikaze Minato, followed by Elder Taki and 3 Chunin from Kusakunin village, heading to the front line for support. The other wave, with Kakashi as the captain, led Nohara Lin, Uchiha Obito, and Kusachiba to blow up the Kanobi Bridge. Among Kakashi's team, the 3 Konoha shinobi runners ran in front, closely together, while Kusachiba was left behind. It seems that all the behaviors in the Grass Ninja Village are really strange. These 3 people are also wary of me. Kusachiba secretly speculated in his heart. There is still some distance to go to Kanobi Bridge. Therefore, the 4 of them rested while moving forward. As expected, Kakashi and Obito often quarreled and fought, and the journey was quite cheerful. And Kusachiba has an easygoing personality. When the 2 of them were playing around, they couldn't help but temporarily forget the cruelty of war and smile from time to time. Seeing that Kusachiba was also infected by this atmosphere, Nohara Lin slowly approached and started chatting with Kusachiba. Over time, the relationship between the 4 people gradually became familiar. However, due to Nohara Rin's relationship, Obito's hostility towards Kusachiba has become more and more serious. After the relationship got closer, Kakashi couldn't help but want to challenge Kusachiba. These 2 people, Kusachiba couldn't help being speechless. Their enemy is Rock Shinobi Village, and now they want to challenge themselves. He shook his head and refused one by one. At the same time, he told them both in a solemn tone, asking them to focus on the overall situation and concentrate on dealing with the common enemy. What Kusachiba said was so right. The 2 of them had no room to refute it, but they were still dissatisfied with Kusachiba's Jonin status. Finally one day came. In the dense forest, the 4-person team stopped and moved forward. As a ninja's most basic perception, all 4 of them could sense that someone nearby was targeting them. Then, a shout came from above, and the 4 of them looked up. Earth-style earth split palm turn. I saw a rock shinobi descending from the top of the tree, slamming down his palm and launching a powerful ninjutsu at the 4 ninjas below. The ground under the feet of the 4 Kusachiba people broke apart and collapsed suddenly, leaving them with no place to stand. Secretary Camouflage Invisibility Technique. Another rock shinobi Jonin suddenly appeared in midair, aimed at Uchiha Obito and Kakashi, and punched each of them. Puff! Their bodies flew out and fell to the ground, coughing. It was obvious that their internal organs had been injured. Konoha's Jonin is just a teenager at best. Konoha has experienced too many wars. I saw 2 Jonin from Rock Shinobi Village gathered together and looked at Hitaki Kakashi with disdain. Obito, protect Lin. Kusachiba, fight them with me. As the captain, Kakashi said decisively. These 2 Jonin from Rock Shinobi Village are much more powerful than the messenger who appeared in Kusanobi Village before. I'm afraid they are close to elite Jonin. Kusachiba narrowed his eyes and deduced the opponent's true strength from the opponent's cooperation and actions just now. Facing a strong enemy, Kusachiba immediately converted all the 40 own attribute points he had just obtained into strength. System, add points immediately. It took a few minutes to click on the system interface, but only a few seconds to the outside world. Soon, Kusachiba's properties panel changed. Ding! The attribute addition has been confirmed. The following are the host's current panel attributes. Taijutsu, 370 right pointing arrow 399 Jonin level, 200 to 400 affects physique, strength, agility, taijutsu, sword, kunai, shuriken. System prompt. Temporarily reached the peak and cannot continue to improve. Ninjutsu, 100 points plus Chunin level, 50 to 200 affects chakra, ninjutsu, seals. Illusion, 61 points plus Chunin level, 50 to 200 affects resistance, illusion. Attributes. Wind 10, thunder, 0, water, 0, fire, 0, earth, 0, yang, 0, yin, 0. Eye technique. 0 points not up to standard. Sage body. 0 points not up to par. Blood succession limit. 0 points not reaching the standard. He allocated 29 of his 40 attribute points to taijutsu, making his taijutsu the strongest in Jonin, and at the same time allocated the remaining 11 points to genjutsu. In this way, his perception of secret arts such as camouflage and visibility will be slightly stronger. Lightning-style Chidori. At this time, the young Kakashi had already condensed an extremely dazzling electric light in his hand. At the same time, there was a buzzing sound. So strong chakra. This move is very weird, be careful. When Kakashi used this move, the two opposing rock shinobi Jonin had already noticed its power and even gave up the plan of facing Kakashi head-on. Secret technique camouflage and visibility technique. I saw one of them, rock shinobi Jonin, after forming the seal, the color of his body gradually changed, and he quickly blended in with the surrounding environment, making it impossible for anyone to notice. Only Kusachiba, who has reached the peak of his physical skills and has a high illusion attribute, can sense the opponent's whereabouts. Oops! A trace of cold sweat appeared on Kakashi's forehead. He is not yet proficient in mastering the Chidori, so it can only be effective in frontal combat. If the other party chooses to take a roundabout way, then he will fall into passivity. In particular, Chidori needs to consume a lot of chakra, and the scarcity of chakra is Kakashi's shortcoming. It's okay. You go and fight the remaining rock shinobi Jonin. Leave the one who uses invisibility to me. At this moment, Kusachiba said lightly. No, you are no match for him, Obito, come here and help. Kakashi does not trust Kusachiba's strength. After all, he is just a ninja from Kusanobi village who has just been promoted to Jonin, and is much weaker than Rock Shinobi village, one of the 5 major nations. In Kakashi's view, letting Kusachiba face the rock shinobi Jonin alone is tantamount to sending him to death. Good. Obito heard this and was about to come. It's too late. You're the one I'm targeting. A sword suddenly appeared above Kusachiba's head. It was the rock shinobi Jonin who used the camouflage and visibility technique. This kunai chopped down and aimed directly at Kusachiba's head. Chiba, he's on top of you. Nohara-Lin was shocked. Careful. Obito and Kakashi were also stunned for a moment, unable to react. Phew. Kusachiba stretched out a fist, and a chakra condensed on it, condensing into a huge fist-shaped wind ball, which he punched out. Wind-style tornado fist. Kusachiba's combination of ninjutsu and taijutsu, coupled with Jonin's top taijutsu attributes, allowed him to strike from behind and attack the opponent one step ahead. Bang! Rock Shinobi Jonin was hit by this punch, and his ribs were broken. He spat out a large mouthful of blood, and shot it backwards, hitting another companion, and both of them fell to the ground. Obito, Kakashi, and Nohara-Rin were stunned to the spot. They didn't even see clearly when Kusachiba punched just now. Kusachiba's speed was so fast, even faster than the 2 rock shinobi Jonin. So strong, Nohara-Rin said dumbfounded. Apart from Kakashi, this was the first time he saw such a powerful boy. Even Obito and Kakashi couldn't help but admit at this time that Kusachiba's strength may be far more than what it seems on the surface. This mission must not fail. However, the 2 rock shinobi on the other side were seriously injured, but they had no intention of giving up, with fire in their eyes. Earth-style camouflage and visibility. One of them, rock shinobi Jonin, was seen escaping into the environment again. It's this trick again. Kakashi and others felt a headache. This is really elusive. Earth-style fist rock. The rock shinobi Jonin, who was not invisible, took the initiative to fight head-on. A large number of hard rocks were attached to his arms, which raised his hand-to-hand combat ability to a large level. Chidori. At this time, Kakashi's technique was ready and he faced the attack head-on. Where the 2 of them collided, lightning and gravel collided with each other, causing bursts of loud noises that were extremely uncomfortable for the eardrums. But it's obvious that Kakashi's Chidori is much more powerful, penetrating the opponent's solid rock layer by layer. HMPH, little devil. I saw this rock shinobi Jonin grinning. His free hand had already formed a seal, and he was ready to slap it down towards the ground. If a ninjutsu at such a close range were to be hit directly, Kakashi would be disabled even if he died. Broken. At this time, Kusachiba aimed at the opportunity, passed between the 2, lowered his body and directly faced rock shinobi Jonin's foot with a sweeping kick. His body was unbalanced and his plan to use ninjutsu fell apart. Before rock shinobi Jonin could use his hands to protect himself, a fist-shaped wind ball rushed towards him. At close range, hand-to-hand combat is the most lethal. I hope everyone will support it and subscribe more.